So am I right to presume here that everyone can see a full display of the presentation here, this discussion about the kind of HoliFood infrastructure in the context of talking about FoodSafeR and how we pull together the data the HoliFood project's been creating to help support decision makers address risks. So, hi everybody, my name is William O'Sullivan. I'm the head of
Sen
data
beni bir
science.
şeye yazdırmışsın yine. Kola şu an. Hollywood.
Pardon me?
I think you can go ahead, Will.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
So, scroll ahead there, sorry. There we go. Right, so yes, head of data science at Creme Global, and our team is functionally responsible for implementing the infrastructure that sits behind the entirety of the HoliFood project. So in collaboration, obviously, with a number of our kind of work package partners who are each contributing their own components of the project. Essentially, it's our job to help orchestrate how all this data comes together to help decision makers make better decisions based on data. So let's get started. At this kind of high level here, folks, we have a diagram kind of outlining all of the HoliFood infrastructure in the context of the different work packages in which the bodies of work are carried out here. So work packages 1, 2, and 6 are the primary kind of points of contact that this HoliFood project has at the moment. And essentially all of this infrastructure has been devised around the technical needs of all of the given participants here. So work package 1 is based on using artificial intelligence and machine learning based models to predict and identify emerging risk. Work package 2 is about tools and methodologies to address risk as well. So each of them have their own kind of different requirements, and we're going to talk about those now. So as I mentioned, work package 1 here has participants from across the board. So Agrino, UVMB, Wageningen, and BFR, each contributing different kinds of models towards the platform. So I'll give a quick demonstration of how we've taken the outputs of their models that they have kind of built upon raw training data, which they've pre-processed into their own different kinds of models here. So BFR producing a weak signal miner, like we've actually just seen in the FoodSafeR presentation. Wageningen producing a supply chain model. UVMB producing a model to look at topic analysis, and Agrino to look at time series models for forecasting, as well as kind of trend analysis on their own accord. So all this data comes together and has a very convenient kind of uniform way of submitting to a platform. So any agent who wants to build a model, submit data, and have that turned into a tool that can be used by any member of the HoliFood kind of organization, or indeed any extended kind of membership, is able to do so via having a single kind of centralized point of contact for all of these complex model outputs that do get distilled into something that is much easier to work with. Work package 2, as I mentioned, is primarily concerned with both the collection of tools and collection analysis of the results that they are able to derive by using those tools. So similarly enough, the data portal that kind of is designed by Creme Global and underpins the HoliFood database that we have here has a kind of single point of entry, very accessible, that allows for either kind of the manual upload of data or a regularly scheduled pull of data via APIs. So a lot of the participants in work package 1 are actually quite excited to use this kind of automated push of data because they have systems that collect data, process it, run models, and then can send data to the HoliFood database on an automated basis, meaning that the resulting analyses can be updated, in near real time. Work package 6 then encompasses, as I mentioned, all of these other components here under providing that general infrastructure for work package 1 and for work package 2, as well as the kind of supporting tasks here. So Agrino has a very complicated and complex system for pulling together data, scraping it from multiple different sources via their own APIs, via methods for scraping data from the web, and analyzing that and breaking that down. And they're using part of that power actually as part of work package 1 to generate inputs for their models. But in addition, they're kind of collecting all this data of their own accord with their own set of tooling. And additionally, Wageningen, with their kind of proficiencies in federated learning, querying, other techniques for kind of a distributed access of databases, are also being used as part of, used and developed as part of work package 6. So ultimately, pardon me, all this data is amassed to serve the purpose of kind of creating a tool that can help risk assessors determine across a number of different kind of axes of analysis what new threats might be on the horizon, what risks are emerging, what do we need to get ahead of, what are people talking about. And when we look at analyzing supply chains for the likes of an exceedance of pesticide appearance in lentils, contaminants on chicken, all these other different kind of attributes that you can look at to determine food risk in terms of how it impacts kind of human health and food safety in general. That's a lot of information overload. So by the time that all this data is assembled under the kind of remit of the HoliFood database, we're able to distill this into a DSS, a decision support system, so that all of these decision makers can use a set of interactive data visualizations, a set of dashboards, to help them make better decisions by exploring that problem space in a bit more of an intuitive fashion. And so what I have here is just a quick example of what it looks like to log into this portal. So username and password, no surprises there. The ability to upload data via a set of kind of permissioned submissions. So essentially, you can have individuals who are restricted to only submit data that your organization would then approve for kind of integration into a larger data set. You have the ability to see all of the data that has been submitted in the past via your archive data. And additionally, as I mentioned before, we have that auto submission functionality whereby systems are connected to autonomously pull data so that we can keep dashboards and models up and running. At the center of this image here, you can see a little click has taken place on that dashboards object to produce a small dropdown for the HoliFood review branch, where we're looking at our kind of first pass analysis of the results that have come all the way out in this end-to-end capacity from the very raw data that the work package 1 modelers are working on, all the way through all the processing to the submission of the platform, to the visualization, to the creation of this DSS. And so the result is a set of these 4 dashboards that look at these weak signals, topic modeling, time series analysis, and supply chain analysis that each kind of give us different dimensions of a problem and allow us to break them down in different ways. Weak signals, naturally enough, look at up and coming issues in text data that is mined. Topic modeling is focused on combining information to see how often different subjects are being brought together. So how, in what fashion or how frequently are commonalities in data being detected, and can we use one signal to kind of infer the existence of another. Time series modeling to look at how we can map previous incidents and capture that seasonality to predict future incidents. And supply chain analysis to look at where we're seeing issues come from in the food supply chain, where are they sourced from, who's reporting them, and ultimately kind of what impact are those issues having on food safety overall. And so that is my discussion of the kind of HoliFood infrastructure that's currently underpinning the body of work we've carried out, and a quick example of what these visualizations can look like in the context of how do we help inform decision making. Thanks very much.